What up, guys? We are doing a
What
Friday live show. Let's go. We're the Bolt Bros. Two out of the three, but we got a special guest today, though. We got Big Bert from the Bolt Pride 602 crew.
Bert
what
here.
up?
Bolt Pride 602, man.
What's
That's
up,
right.
man?
That's right. How you guys doing?
How we doing? Good.
Hey, man, we're getting it. We're ready for the Chiefs game this weekend. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Are you good? You're going to be at the game this weekend, by the way?
Yeah. Yeah, we're supposed to leave tonight.
Nice. So you're leaving tonight then. A little bit of connection issues. We're all having connection issues for some reason today, but yeah, man, we all will. Andrew will be there, and then Kyle will also be there. So all three of the Bolt Bros will be at the Chiefs game this weekend. Plus, what we're talking about with you today is about the Cardinals game here in Arizona, which I'm in Arizona. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, my friend.
Yeah, I'll do my lag here, but it all starts next Friday. Next Friday, we're doing a Tempe takeover. I don't know if you guys never been down to Tempe off Mill Street. It's just tons of bars and clubs right next to ASU. And it's ASU and U of A rivalry night, so it should be pretty packed. And we're just going to essentially just bar and club there all night. We're just going to take over Tempe that Friday night to kick off the weekend. How's that sound?
Oh my God. I'm excited. So just so you know, Bert, I actually live in Utah and I will be there for the holidays, right? So I'll be there with my family, obviously. That's why I was like, oh, it's amazing. It's perfect time. Be down in Arizona, some turkey, some football. Oh my gosh. I am so excited.
Perfect
hey, man,
weekend.
It's going to be sick. It's going to be sick. Yep. I'm excited.
And that's just to kick it off. That's night one. That's just Friday night. We're going to have so much fun tonight. And then Saturday, we have the meet and greet over at McFadden's in Westgate, which is the entertainment center right next to the Cardinals Stadium. That starts at 6 p.m. Again, it's essentially going to be a meet and greet up, starts at 6, and at 9 p.m. it turns into a club. So it's going to be fun. So we're going to be hanging out, talking, drinking, anytime, meeting everybody. And then after hours, we're going to shake it, doing a stinky leg, do whatever you got, man. You can just let loose and have a good old time. As long as you can last.
Yeah.
I got moves that ain't ever been invented yet, yo. It's gonna be sick. But you're gonna enjoy it, James.
No doubt.
So what's important at that meet and greet, one thing to note is we're gonna be selling the wristbands for the tailgate for the tailgate at the meet and greet. So you want to buy them there because they're $25 on Saturday. And that includes McFadden's going to cater all the food for that tailgate. So they're going to have like burgers, dogs, chicken, salad, pasta. I mean, they're going to have it fully catered. And they're actually, that includes a DJ and an area just designated for us. Now, folks can come and join. They don't have to buy a wristband, but to have access to the food and everything, that's what you'll need for the wristband. It's BYOB. So bring your own beer, which is awesome because you know how it is. Every time you go anywhere, that's your biggest cost is alcohol.
Yes.
So the other thing is bring our own booze, and then we can just drink as much as we want, obviously, with whatever we bring. We'll have some beer there. So I've been organizing us with the Bull Pride folks and the DHBC folks. So we'll have some beer there. But I probably would encourage folks to just bring a little case or a little 6-pack or 12-pack just to make sure that there's enough. But that's it for the tailgate on Sunday also. So again, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a great time. Game starts at 1:00, so right around 12, right before 12, we're gonna wrap up and we're gonna walk over to the fountain area in Westgate, and we're gonna do a big old group picture with everybody. There's like a second story up there, so I imagine someone's gonna go up on top, take a picture of the whole group over by the fountain. And then we're all going to march into the stadium with our flags, with our banners, just having a big old time, just having a riot. And I did this this summer. I went to a soccer match, and they did the same thing. We all started at one of the pubs there, and then we all worked our way down to the stadium, and it was awesome. All the TV channels that were there, the radio channels that were there, everybody came by and was taking pictures and interviewing folks. So I'd imagine something similar is going to be happening when all the Charger fans are essentially marching into the stadium. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a great time, man. When I saw this on the schedule, I was like, man, we got a Chargers game in Arizona, and I'm stoked. And it's a regular season game, not a preseason game, because I was there for the preseason game some years ago. And I can't wait, man. I'm excited about this game. It's going to be a fun time. And, AZ is going to treat everybody right at that tailgate that's for dang sure. And then, to make it a 3-day event, man, busy weekend for all of us, man. So it's great to be able to connect with the community. That's the one thing we love about doing this podcast is that there's such a cool community and culture involved with the Chargers.
Big time.
And, I've been around the Chargers forever. I mean, since we've known football, we've been Charger fans down to San Diego, to our grandpa basically being a Charger season ticket holder for years and years and years. And man, it's just cool to be a part of that culture in some manner. And, Bolt Pride 602, that's local to me. I'm here in Arizona, and I know these guys, and they're great dudes all around, man. And so you're going to have all the other guys out there, the diehards, all the guys, Los Rayos, like all the crew is going to be out here. So it'll be a real cool time for everybody here in Arizona, which there is a good fan base for San Diego, or I should say San Diego Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers fans, and there's a good crew out here. So it'll be a real cool turnout all around, man. I'm looking forward to it.
100%.
Yeah, we're all working on this together. We're all collaborating together, and it's going to be a great thing, man. I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait for it, too. This is what I've been looking for all year, man. It's going to be a good time. So, but perfect. Anything else you want to add to that, Bert? I'm stoked about it. We've shared it on our Instagram. We shared it all on our socials for the event, too. We'll keep it going for you guys all next week, too, and sharing about the event. But anything else you want to add to that?
Biggest thing I'll ask is there's a link to all three events on the flyer that was sent out. I'm posting it on all our social medias. If you guys could do us a favor and just RSVP on the links, no cost for it. It just gives us a head count of what to expect, so that way we can coordinate with those facilities where we're going to start off at, and that gives us a general idea of kind of how many people to expect. And I didn't really say where we're starting off on Friday. So Friday in Tempe, we're going to be starting at a place called Anoche Cantina. Again, it's on the flyer. But again, if you guys can just RSVP to all the different links on the events that you guys will be attending, that'll really help us out, and we greatly appreciate that.
For sure.
That's
that
amazing.
Sounds good. I know we'll be there. We'll definitely get out there as much as we possibly can. I know I was looking at Tempe on Friday night, seeing kind of what's going on out there, and I think there's some like holiday Christmas parade going on that same night too. So it's going to be pretty packed down there. It's going to be wild for sure. So it'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to it, man. But
couldn't be more excited.
It's going to be fun. It's going
to be a good time. So awesome, man. So we're looking forward to that. So let's jump into kind of just, what was that, Bert?
So that's it. It's all I got.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, buddy. Man, looking forward to it. Well, let's chat a little bit about this week and kind of some of the news that we have seen here, and obviously, Bert, put in your thoughts on everything here too, and kind of how this week has gone for us. But I'm going to actually just share something real quick. Well, actually, let's talk a little bit about our defensive line, our lack of defensive line that we currently have right now.
Yeah, let's have a conversation. The disaster that our defensive line is at this moment, right? Yeah. So let's talk about that for sure.
It's man. I mean, just that last game, dude. If we just had a defensive line, it could have possibly been a little different of a game for us. But we had Brandon Fehoko, who's basically was out there, Sebastian Joseph Day, Morgan Fox, Jeremy Itachu is kind of also a left D end, and he was out there for a couple plays, but. We had to get bodies at this point. And, who do we end up going get? Tyler Davidson. Who, that brings a lot of ideas and thoughts, because I think a lot of us as fans of the Chargers, we wanted to be able to get Sue. We wanted to go, I was thinking a lot about going after Linval Joseph. And since he's kind of a system fit kind of guy. And guess what? We get this guy, Tyler Davidson. And then that's kind of a little bit of a letdown for us as Charger fans. So we kind of look at like this as, well, Sue and Linville Joseph ironically went to the Eagles, right? Why did they go to the Eagles? They're 8-1. They're 8-1. I mean,
8-1.
Simple as that. They have a good ability to make a nice run. They have the ability to go out and make a deep playoff run potentially. And they had about a little bit of almost about $9.5 million in salary cap, to where we only had like $4 million. So we just had to get bodies. And Tyler Davidson was that body for us. And I know we did sign also, was it Moa to our practice squad too?
Moa as well.
Yep. So
from Boise State. Yeah. And he's pretty much a practice squad guy. You know, but to your point, James, you know, and look, talking about injuries are injuries, right? And every team has injuries. And you could argue all day, well, look, at the end of the day, we've had a record number of injuries. I think we were comparing us to the, 2010 Packers. Yeah. I think on one of the videos I did, I kept saying the Saints for some reason. But look, at the end of the day, everyone's playing hurt. Mm-hmm. And, you know, people got to go out there and do it. In fact, I was watching the Thursday Night Football game with, who was it? Simmons. He was out there limping, and he was still playing, right, for the Texans or the Titans. Yep. And, you know, he had an ankle injury, but he's like, yeah, it's not going to stop me. I'm still going to go out there and do it. I mean, literally after every play, he was just limping. He'd get to his spot. I think he played nose tackle, and then he still played. And, you know, that's what football players are doing. You know, and back in the days, I mean, 10 years ago, they'd say, great, go out there and do it. I mean, is it broken? Okay,
Rub
cool.
a little dirt on that and go, you know?
Put a little, like Chris Rock says, put a little tussin on it. Put a little tussin on it.
Put a little tussin on it. You're good to go. Get back out there.
I love that whole thing. Tussin. But that's my point, right? At the end of the day, you know, it's frustrating because, you know, as a fan, like, we want to see our guys out there, but, you know, you get an ankle injury or this and that. I mean, and I understand hamstring injuries are bad. I've had them all in my career, you know, playing sports. Yep. But, you know, you want to see your players out there contributing, and they want to be out there as well too. So, you know, it's a tough conversation for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt.
You know, if you don't mind, I got a little opinion on that. Please. I personally think,
I want to hear it.
Any big change or additions that we would have done, we already did early in the season. We went big. We made a bunch of, you know, additions and big splash early in the season. I think that was really big. We're not used to the Chargers doing that. So that was really just something that is out of our character. And I'm so glad and happy that we did that. But now it's time. I think the brass of the Chargers is holding the coaches accountable to, hey, we brought you all these guys in, make it work, figure it out, right? And they don't usually go for folks like that. He's kind of outside the character fit of what, you know, what we look for. So with that, even more so, they're just going to hold, you know, our coach Staley, just, you know, hey, make it work. And I think there's a lot of pressure. I'd imagine there's probably a lot of pressure, just like we hear and we see it as fans. I'd imagine they hear it and see it, you know, at the leadership level, right? So, you know, there's talking about, you know, new coaches or new this, new that. I mean, at that point, I mean, again, it kind of goes back to it. Hey, make it work, figure it out. You know, we're paying you to be a coach and to, you know, figure out, you know, what you can do with this. We already kind of put the money up front, you know, again, figure it out. And this way, if it works, great. If it doesn't, then maybe that's an excuse for them to get rid of the coach and move on to somebody else. I mean, we all know some of the big names that are kind of out there right now that they're kind of in the news, but that's just my point.
Yeah, you know, and it makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jim.
We've been chatting a lot about that. You know, it's like they basically did a lot of front loading of the season and saying, hey, we're going to spend a ton of money on these players, and these are going to be our guys. And we've been chatting a lot, like within the Bolt Bros text messaging thread. You know, that'd be kind of funny if we actually started making a text messaging thread with everybody on our channel, so then we could all just chat within a channel or a text thread.
I think that's a great idea.
That would be kind of dope. That would be kind of dope. But the thing is that we spent so much money on the front end of the season and said, hey, these are going to be our guys. for basically 2 to 3 years for us. It's going to be kind of through that whole rookie contract situation with Justin Herbert. And these are our guys. And, we've just gone through a very series of unfortunate events of injuries here that we just have had kind of the bad luck for us at this point. Now, I'll say this, though, like, the one thing that I wish that we did is that we left a little bit more money on the books. So if there's a midseason need of some sort, we could at least try to get that one guy. Maybe we could have got that one extra guy, like maybe a Linval Joseph to bring him back. Or we could have thought about bringing him back earlier this year if we really liked him. Brandon Staley speaks very highly of him. And
big time.
I think that's one thing that I wish that we would have done to be able to find a little bit more of that wiggle room for a midseason acquisition of some sort, just to give us that extra boost. Like, everybody talks about that Odell Beckham Jr. potential. Like, do we really need that? It's just an extra boost to the wide receiving core and potentially our offense, which has been relatively stagnant. But, now we're starting to see like we're getting healthy possibly at the right time of the season for us for that wide receiver position. So it's just a really, really tough situation because we all hope to be able to get something, but we're also kind of stuck about not paying over or go over the salary cap or whatnot and get penalized or whatnot. So we're kind of in this weird point that we couldn't really do too much, but Tyler Davidson's our guy. Guess what? He's going to be the next Aaron Donald for us. Here you go.
Let's get it. No, but Bert, to your point, we've been saying this for a long time. It's exactly what we've been talking about on our channel forever, right? I made the joke, James, right, that Brandon Staley sat on Santa Spanos' lap and said, hey, these are the whole list of things I need to make my defense be awesome. He went out, spent all that money to get everything that he wanted. The well has run dry, right? That's the right way of saying it. It's done. Yep. I promise you at the bye week, they said, hey, we can go get this guy. No, we don't want to spend the money. We don't want to spend the money. We're done. Like, we have a little bit of money left over. And think about this for a second, guys. We still got to pay Herbert. At some point. Probably get an extension, but you never really know how that's going to play out. Are we going to restructure Bosa's contract? Obviously not going to restructure Derwin James's contract, but Keenan Allen, probably want to restructure his contract a little bit, see what happens. These are all conversation pieces that really, we're fans, but from a business perspective, you have to think about those things, right? So, it's a really interesting conversation, for me at least. That's one thing I really like about it. But yeah, we got two bodies for the defensive line since we lost Covington. It is what it is. And apparently we'll see what our coaching staff can do with them, right? I mean, and I'll stop. I'm going to land my plane for 2 seconds here. The one thing I will say is this: how good are they, right? And how good is our coaching staff, right? Because they might be finding diamonds in the rough at this point, right? And clearly, Brandon Staley talked about Tyler Davidson quite a bit on one of his, I think it was yesterday. He brought it up and he said, look, he's amazing. He's awesome. Well, I guess we're about to find out. So, we'll see how good our, coaching staff is and how good these picks are that we're paying them for, right? That's what they're there for. Anyways, I landed my plane.
Yeah. And we could really chat about that more and more and more, but it's just, at the point is, we needed bodies. We didn't have a whole heck of a lot of money. We just had to do what we had to do. And, I just put up on the screen, we all know as Charger fans and how snake bitten we are with these injuries right now. I mean, it's a relentless situation for us right now. I mean, on top of Herbert going out there and still playing with his broken cartilage in his rib, still trying to go out there. But once again, RB2, wide receiver 1 and 2, wide receiver 4, tight end 1 and 2, left tackle, right tackle. I mean, this list just goes and it just keeps going. Now I have been a little bit more like, hey guys, like the thing is, we're 5-4 and we've had a team that has been absolutely decimated with injuries. They're fighting.
Good point.
This team is still fighting right now, and nobody seems to be giving up. I love hearing about Sebastian Joseph Day after the games, and he's just, he's got fire in him, and he's a true leader in my opinion. And I like hearing what he says. and he's out there still hustling and still doing what he needs to do. So I really give a shout out to this coaching staff. Now, once again, we're very questionable on the Lombardi calls, but once again, that's the thing that I think if we do really truly get back Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and have Gerald Everett on the field this weekend, that will be the first time since week 1 that we'll be able to have our full team on the offense. Well, excuse me, our wide receiver 1 and 2 on the same time or on the field at the same time since week 1. So hopefully that will be kind of a good showing for our offense. Our offense will wake up because this is a big game for us for the Chiefs this weekend. And they are banged up too, by the way. So they have some injuries too all around. So we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it leads from this point, guys. But hey, keep the faith, guys. Keep the faith.
Well,
you're spot on, bud. You're so spot on. I mean, just because look at how many games we've actually won, like by 1 point or a kick or something. These last 2-3 years, I mean, those are the games we were losing. Now we're actually finding ways to win those games. And this is with injuries. This is with not having the personnel that we're supposed to be having out there. And our record's okay. We're still okay, regardless of all the injuries. I think with folks coming back, hopefully we get Keenan and Mike back. That's going to help. I saw something on Fox Sports where it was us, and I want to say us and the Bucks that had basically the highest drop passes this year. I think it was 20. Both of us were tied with 20 drop passes. That's got to impact your offense. I mean, think of how many first downs we didn't, convert there, or how many, touchdowns potentially we didn't get there, right? And we're 5-3. I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's right there. So, hopefully we get these guys back and our offense kind of gets us going, and we'll be all right, regardless of where we're at with their defense. Hopefully we get Bosa. I don't know the timeline on Bosa. Do you guys know what that looks like?
So Bosa, I think it's another 2 weeks, so it'll probably end up being December with him. He's in the building right now, but I was kind of hoping he was going to come back for the Cardinals game, but it seems like another 2 weeks, so I think it's December.
Okay, even then, let's just say our offense gets some help back with Keenan and Mike. We'll be all right, man. We're going to be hopefully putting up more points than and keeping our defense off the field, more often than not. And hopefully we just kind of keep banging them out that way. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think this week we're looking at Rumpf, Williams, and Allen potentially coming back. Those are the big names, right? And I think Everett will play. Pipkins sounds like he'll play as well too, which is a good thing. Actually, I will say this, guys. Who was the guy, Forrest Sorrell, that played?
Yeah.
Didn't
play bad.
He did not. Okay. Our defensive line coach is fantastic. I'm drawing a blank on his name for the life of me. Anyways, I'm drawing a blank on life but he has done a fantastic damn job of looking good. Now, don't get me wrong. There were some things that were done that, in my opinion, were really stupid, right? We can talk about the jet sweep that went right into Nick Bosa, which was just like, bro, are you kidding me? What a terrible play call that was. But he did a good job, so it leads me to believe that, our coaching staff is great in certain areas, but we're struggling in other areas, right? We've talked a lot about Lombardi and his our frustrations with his play calls, but damn, you have to just appreciate what our offensive line coach has done. With, let's face it, guys, scrubs, right? Jamari has been an absolute stud. Actually, why don't you throw up the Jamari, graphic you got as well too? Because we want to talk about this briefly, and then we'll get into the larger conversation as well too. And I know Aether's got a question we want to get at with him in a little bit as well too. So, but if we could tee up the Jamari Salyer graphic, that would be a really good thing.
But and the one thing too, like, and the kind of the discussion that we're having here is just talking about, like, our coaching staff has done a pretty good job, and there's an idea and everybody's been chatting about the whole Sean Payton thing, and Aether and I have had some discussion about that. I don't know why the graphic did not come up all of a sudden. Let me try that again.
Hey, this is the awesomeness of live video, guys.
We're trying to get fun over here. We're trying to do some fun things over here, and not like work with us today. All right, here we go. I think I got it now. Hold on one second. Let me try this again.
Right,
but
let's get it.
The whole thing is, though, is that, this idea of having.
There we go.
I think that's up now. Cool. So the whole thing about it is that this whole talk, to me, like, Brandon Staley's done a good job. And last week's game against the Niners, he talked about, and once again, he said, hey, like, I probably called the best defensive game I've done in my life. And he did a lot of things to confuse that Niners offense throughout the game.
Agreed.
It was really interesting to see how many shifts that he did on the D-line and people that he put in.
He did.
He started the game with J.P. Woods as safety. He started putting two defensive tackles with basically 5-man line with linebackers and ends involved in it. He really just shifted a lot more of that defense. And I think did a really, really good job. I felt in the preseason that wasn't going to be a game that we won. But at the same side, man, we were really close to get that game. The thing is, though, we do need to find ways to win against good teams. So this game this weekend is more critical for us, just for a bigger purpose of the actual season, plus also for us to beat a good team. So going back to Aether and talking about the coaching staff, Spanos is going to spend $10 million and give up whatever draft capital to be able to get, our guy, Sean Payton, because I just don't think that they're going to pay that kind of money, and they probably won't give him the GM title either, too. So I don't think that's going to happen. But once again, just going back to Bert's, comments about this offseason, we've seen a lot of things shift a lot, and we've seen things where they try to make some bigger moves. Now, I don't feel they will, because I think Brandon Staley's a great coach. Everybody's got their own opinion on it. I think he's been solid for us. I think he's done a great job for us as a coach. I would like him to stick with us. And I don't imagine the Spanos willing to spend $10 million on a coach. I don't think historically they've ever done something like that. And I don't think historically they've given a head coach a GM title on top of their name too. So that's just my opinion. I know Aether and I, we've had private messages between us talking about that, but that's kind of a bigger subject there.
Yeah. And I'll pass to Bert here in a second, but look, here's my thing. I truly believe that Brandon Staley is an excellent head coach, right? What you want as a head coach is a leader and inspiration. Guys, he's a cancer survivor, right? He's awesome. We keep joking about this shirt that at some point Kyle needs to get done. Kyle, you listening? You better freaking make this happen here pretty soon. The Church of Staley,
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
The Church of Staley, with like a rosary and like a couple bolts on it, that would be amazing, right? But what my argument has always been is that Lombardi has gotten extremely vanilla in his play calls, right? That's my only argument, right? If you watch my video talking about Fred Warner talking about how they did one play the entire second half.
Yeah.
My one argument with Brandon Staley, though, was this, that Daniel Popper specifically asked him, I think on Wednesday, and said, hey, if you know when they were running zone, they were running man initially first half, and we were burning them. Then they went to zone, and then we could not get them out of zone. They stayed in zone the entire time and just shut us down. I think we got 60 total yards the second half, no points, no nothing. So my argument is, why aren't we calling plays to break them out of zone? Like, you have to have a different way of finding gaps and holes, get them out of zone every time. And so, again, that's coaching. And to me, Lombardi did not have a way of getting them out of it, right? And he needed to have a plan to get them out of that zone type of formations that they were running. And he didn't do anything to change it. And that was my frustration. So, Bert, I'll pass to you as well.
Players, man. He doesn't have Keenan Allen. He doesn't have Mike Williams. You said it earlier. Yep. We've got second, third string guys out there. So I was in Atlanta 2 weeks ago.
That's right.
And I was right in the end zone, and I was able to see some really awesome passes being thrown to Palmer and some of the other guys, and crazy passes that Herbert was throwing out there. These guys weren't ready for the ball. By the time they turned around, the ball was almost hitting him in the face, and luckily they were catching him. But these guys, I mean, seriously, Herbert's just like making some you guys done that trust fall exercise? That's exactly what Herbert's doing, dude. He is just swinging it out there. Hey, guys, get it. And these guys are like, oh shit, it's right there. I'm sorry if I don't know.
Nah, you're good.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it.
You know, and it's crazy because I would see their face and they were like, oh man, the ball's right there. And then they catch the ball and they were like, oh man, they're all excited. But at the same token, I could just see it. I could see it in their eyes. They were like, oh man, it was right there. And it's just crazy, dude. And I think a lot of it has to do is, again, our offensive coordinator is, yeah, he's gone vanilla, but he's working with what he's got. You know what I mean? And maybe there's just not enough reps, or maybe he just doesn't trust these guys to be able to do more, you know, than what he could do or what he typically can do with the rest of the guys. I mean, that's just how I see it. I know I coach high school football. I haven't coached in a while, but when your first, you know, your first string guys go down, I mean, you're limited with what you can do at second and third string guys. I mean, they don't have the reps, or you haven't seen it. And I mean, so you're really limited, and that's kind of how I see it sometimes too.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Great point.
So it reminds me, and I'll tell a really quick story. A buddy of mine plays football. I live in Utah. Some of you guys know that. My buddy played for BYU, and I went to BYU. That's where I went to college. And he was recruited as a quarterback. Came back, and he was like, they moved him to tight end, and he's like, you don't understand how you run a 5-yard out. The ball is literally in your face, and it's a timing route. It's a whole timing thing. Aaron Rodgers actually talked about that quite a bit. I think it was yesterday or the day before. They started talking about, like, after the Thursday night football game. It's like, yeah, our wide receivers are not where they need to be. And to your point, Bert, that's perfect. That timing only occurs with players that fully understand the timing route. And that's why Keenan Allen's so great, because he's good at, hey, he's going inside. No. And he breaks right outside. But his timing is still spot on with Herbert. Catches the ball, makes the play. So losing Williams and losing Allen has absolutely hurt our season. I promise you, that's a big part of it, right? In the NFL, it's all about timing. In the NFL, it's all about timing. I'm throwing a ball at this spot at this time. And that's hard for people like us to comprehend, but that's really what it is. So anyways, I'll pass to you, James.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, it throws everything off. And, you know, it's interesting. I was listening to Lombardi in his press conference he had earlier this week. I think it might have been yesterday, actually. And he was chatting about the offense and everything. And the first thing he talked about was routes. And he's like, oh, you know, it's all about check down. And I'm like, we got to stop these check downs.
No.
And I understand the reason why we got these check downs is because we don't have guys that could get to the positions that they need to be at. And that's the issue here. Now, my expectations going into this Chiefs game is if we have Allen and Williams, now we're going to have a downfield threat. We're going to have a guy that could get the 50-50 with, Williams. We have now a guy that can get to the position to where he needs to be. And Palmer could be that third guy. Plus you have Gerald Everett. Plus you have Eckler involved in it. So we're going to have those guys that can make this offense work. That's the generator of it. I think it was Chris Collinsworth on the Sunday night game. He says, hey, to make the plays, you need the players that could go out there and play. If you don't have the players at all, the play doesn't work at that point. And that sounds very, very, that sounds like a very big inspirational thought, but it's as simple as that. We don't have the players to make the plays for us right now. And once 100%. We get those players back in, this offense will look totally different. So I'm looking forward to being in SoFi Stadium, Sunday night football, hanging with my bros and Bert, hanging out with everybody there. We're going to have a great time, and let's get that dub this weekend, guys. I cannot wait.
I'm so excited.
That'll be a great one. Let's go. And we'll be hanging at Thunder Alley, by the way, guys. Guaranteed.
Thunder Alley's so fire, guys. Thunder Alley's so fire. You guys got to go. I mean, we've been missing out forever, right? I mean, it's just, it's so damn fun, guys. It's so damn fun. If you're going to a game, go to the freaking tailgate no matter what.
Pink lot, go.
Yep. Pink lot, make it happen, yo.
And speaking of fire, let's just talk about this slide that I've been sitting up here for a while. The Jamari Salyer through 6 games. I mean, 6th-round pick, guys. Like, this guy was a captain for Georgia. Like, dude, he's been in the league, he's been with Georgia for 4 years, I believe, and just has been an absolute rock throughout his whole entire career there. I had him, and I had a lot of I was kind of through the draft process. I had him at like a 3rd round pick for us. and we ended up getting him in the 6th. I mean, this guy came in once again. When your left tackle's gone, that is a major problem for your entire team. And when Slater went out, I was like, holy smokes. Well, it's now you go from one Slater, we go to a Salyer now, and we'll see how that goes. Now, absolute stud, 297 pass blocking snaps, 0 sacks allowed, highest rated rookie pass blocker for PFF rankings. I mean, you can't ask for anything better right now.
No.
Phenomenal to have a 6th-round pick come through like that for us. So big shout out to him, man, by the way, man. Big shout out. And Zion, also big shout out to Zion, too. 2 rookies on our line making things happen. But Jamari, absolute stud. Absolute stud.
So I will just say one thing real quick, and then we'll pass to you, Bert. But look, I will say, I'm looking at the chat as well. Here's the thing. We are here to protect our number one asset, and that is Justin Herbert. And this guy right here is doing a great job. Now, I will argue this, though, because I had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine. The one thing that's interesting about Justin Herbert, he's very good at maneuvering in the pocket, right? And as a young quarterback, he's very good at just stepping up, getting away from pressure, and making these guys look good. But, you have to say this. He has done a damn good job, and it's amazing to me to see how well he's done given the situation. So, I mean, again, cannot say enough about our offensive line coach, and I'll pass to Bert.
Yeah, he's killing it. The guy's a monster. So happy about that. I think the other thing to add to it is the injury that Herbert took week 2 against the Chiefs. That slowed him down a little bit. That we haven't seen him kind of extend the drive and kind of maneuver outside the pocket like we're used to seeing him, right? And I think we're starting to see a little bit of that come back again, but he hasn't had the receivers to kind of make those second, third time moves to get open, right? Like Keenan and like Mike Wood, especially Keenan, because I mean, again, we're dealing with second and third stringers. Hopefully, once we get these guys back, I mean, Keenan will get open, and I can already see Herb just rolling out to the right, Keenan over there making those double moves, those triple moves to kind of find that open green spot, and there goes the ball, right? Extending those drives that we haven't been able to do these last few weeks because that hasn't been available because of them being out and because Herb just not being ready to do it. But now that he's getting healthier, I think that's going to happen. I'm just excited, man. Again, I'm excited that we're still in a contention place where our record's still right there. We're still ready to go. We just got to keep finding ways to win the games and make it happen. And as fans, we get so nervous. We just want to win every one, and we're like, I know. But it's just it's tough, and the NFL is no joke, man. Every single team, I mean, hey, we got our asses beat to the freaking Jaguars. I mean,
I was at that game. I wanted to cry. I wanted to jump off sofa at that point. Just like swan dive. See you later. I'm done, dude. Get over it.
Yeah.
I'll add one thought really quick. Yeah, it is. It is crazy. I mean, but to your point, we were joking, James and Kyle, we were talking about Herbert's injury, and we said, hey, look, he should be like Bubble Boy with the big bubble around him. I don't know if you guys saw that movie. You remember that movie, Bubble Boy? He's got a big old bubble, so if he gets hit, he just gets bounced off, but he doesn't get any damage, and it's just one of those situations where, unfortunately, in the NFL, you got to get out there and you got to sacrifice your body, and that's the dangerous part about it. So, yeah, I love it. Oh, look, James froze. James, you there? How we doing, buddy? You gotta love that. All right, so we should go through some questions here. Oh, here we go. Wow, there we go, James. You okay, buddy?
I was in deep thought, apparently.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, whoa, here we go. Hey,
he was.
Oh, and he's gone now. Hey, that's right. The joys of live video, guys. That's the whole point. That's the joys of live video. Yeah. I love it.
Hey, I love it. I'm actually gonna get going here pretty soon, but last thing, I'm gonna piggyback on the Thunder Alley guys. You guys in the chat, if you guys haven't been to Thunder Alley, you guys need to come by. I got one of the booths for Arizona, the Bull Pride 602 group. There's tons of groups out there, and everybody is so welcoming. If you haven't been there, please swing by, introduce yourself, meet everybody. It's all about love, man. We all take care of of each other and the opposing fans. I mean, again, I think we're one of the better fans in the NFL. And from traveling to all the different games that I've been traveling, we're welcomed everywhere. So again, I encourage you guys to come down and just have fun. I mean, usually you'll find me or my wife with a bottle of tequila and just get ready to take a shot if that's the case. So, but outside of that, I got to go. You guys take care. Let's bolt up, and I'll see you guys soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Bert. Appreciate you. See you in Arizona and also this weekend. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'll see you this weekend. Take care.
Absolutely.
Bye.
All right. So James still trying to log back in, guys. So let's go through a couple questions here real quick. Let me see if I can even do this now. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be able to, but I know Aether had a question. I can't highlight it, unfortunately. Aether, I have a great question. What is going to decide the game on Sunday night to keep Mahomes in the pocket or Herbert going off on offense? It's interesting. That's a really interesting question. I've thought about this ever since you threw it out there, Aether, because the reality is this. I think it's really just a conversation around damage control, and that's all it is. It's damage control. There's no other way of making it work, right? I mean, bottom line, you've got to keep him contained, but it's gap soundness and it's gap awareness of where you go and how you fix things moving forward. That's it. And the reality is this: it's hard to keep Mahomes contained, right? Now, I would say this, it's one of those situations where, look, you just got to make sure you do things correct. So, let's keep moving through. And your last other thought here too, I think the game Lombardi opened the playbook to get out of aggressive or will get killed. I agree, man. Look, the reality is this: Lombardi's done a really poor job of making things inventive through this entire situation. He's just done a terrible job of that. And he's not made anything look sharp or good. And he's become, again, Fred Warner said it, predictable. And I've been saying this forever, this entire season, is that he's 100% predictable. We know what he's going to do, and nothing he's doing is inventive or unusual or different. And so that's killing us as a team moving forward, even with some of the players that are out at this point. So it is frustrating to see for sure. Okay, guys. So James cannot get back in. So what we're going to end up doing at this point is continue moving through this. So we lost James here. This is awesome, guys. This is the loveliness of live video, right? Because it's one of those situations where things go very strange on live. That's typically why we typically try not to go live as often as we do, but it's becoming a little bit strange at this point too. So one other thing I wanted to talk about as well too. I know, what are your thoughts specifically? And Carlos, thank you so much about my sweater. Yeah. This is from Starter. Yeah, it's solid, man. I mean, I love it. And oh my gosh, that's amazing. And James is locked out. Really strange. I have no idea why. All right, let me see if I can help him in here. Oh my God. Okay. Here's the question. Do the bros have preferences where they're at on the screen during live chats? Not really. Actually, the funny thing about that is it actually just kind of selects where you go when you log in. So when you log in, you're 1, 2, or 3 positions. So if you log out or have some connection issues, they'll move you around. It's a little bit weird. So I think that's kind of funny. Wow. Okay. This is interesting. This is like a ghost giving me these information. This is obviously James doing this right now. James, is this you? God? Is this what's happening? Anyways, I thought that was pretty hilarious. And the coaches need to step up and design a solid 60-minute game plan. So let me talk a little bit about something that I heard from Brandon Staley. Oh, here we go. It's not God, it's James. It's my brother. That's awesome. So this is like seriously tripping me out because he's clicking these buttons. I'm not. Pretty hilarious. The coaches. Okay, so I don't know if you saw this, but Brandon Staley, I think 2 weeks ago, prior to the bye, was discussing how we've gotten off to a very slow start in Q1 or quarter one the entire season. Funny story. Obviously, we did a much better job of getting much better with the 49ers. What he said was a lot of the players apparently were practicing off to the side. So linebackers would be one way, defensive linemen the other way. They were not practicing as a group, offensively or defensively. So at the bye week, they made a switch and said, no, moving forward, we're going to make sure that we practice 100% together, more in like game time, real decisions. And that's made us work better moving forward. So I suspect they're going to continue doing that, which I think is great to continue, having a better quarter one, quarter two start off. Because I'm telling you right now, it is so frustrating to see our team that absolutely just struggles in Q1, right? It's weird to me how bad we have been. So that's an interesting conversation. Aether, shoot your question out. Absolutely, shoot your question out as well. Wow, here we go, James. Man, this is freaking me out right now. Okay, do teams start evaluating offensive tackles in the draft with the recent success of Salyer and Slater? They both were projected as guards. I think that makes a lot of sense because bottom line, look, the line. I've always said this about linemen. Linemen can be moved around a lot. You see that a lot in the NFL and even in college specifically. Jamari Salyer is a perfect example, right? Is that he was all over the line at Georgia. Like he was moved. I think he was even a center at one point. I know Zion Johnson was a center at one point at Boston College as well too. My point is bottom line, you just got to read blitzes. You need to read and beat the man in front of you. That's the whole point, right? So I think a lot of people should be moved around interoperably, and that's actually a big part of the people that we have on our team. Like a good example, Hymas. I think Hymas has played a few snaps, not a ton, but the reality is he can play a lot of different positions. And I think if you're a lineman, you want to have the ability to play a lot of different spots through the line across the board and make it work. So that's a big part of it as well. Okay, so all right, so Aether, I'm seeing your question right now. Oh God, Larry, no, we're not gonna. Chiefs will not win 38-27. Come on now. You got to have a little more. You got to have a little more, faith, right? Okay, ride the lightning. Give Joe Lombardi the necessary play calls for the Chargers to win. I like that prayer, my friend. I like that prayer. But the funny thing about it is Joe, again, we've talked about this so much. Like, I just really feel like bottom line, he's done such a poor job of being inventive, right? Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse. Watch my video. I did a whole video on Joe Lombardi. The problem is that he was extremely predictable and the 49ers did not have to do anything different. They did a base zone defense the second half and they beat us, which is frustrating. Okay, so we'll end on this with Aether, and we'll go from there. So, I have a great question. What is going to decide the game on Sunday night to keep Mahomes in the pocket or Herbert to go off on offense? What's going to decide the game on Sunday night to keep Mahomes in the pocket or Herbert go on offense? Look, I'll tell you right now, it's going to be offensive and defensive line play. A lot of people talk about the game is won in the trenches. This is a great example. They are won and lost in the trenches. Defensive line, offensive line, 100%. If your defensive line is going to smoke their offensive line, they can't run the ball. You're going to make that other team completely one-sided. It's really going to boil down to gap soundness and keeping Mahomes in the pocket and then letting Herbert have the opportunity to throw the ball downfield, right? Because bottom line, they're exposed deep down the field. Again, not having Guyton out there is a problem, but having Williams out there and potentially Allen for third down is going to be huge. So, I'm excited to see, how that plays out moving forward, right? And Larry, you're exactly right. Look, our staff does need to step up. Look, I'll say this. I will say this, and I made a comment about this, I think on my video about Joe Lombardi, is that the fact is, if I was a play caller, I would randomize some of my play calls. Again, I talked a little bit about this, guys, and you let me know. I don't know if you've, so just so you know, my background in my education is I have a double minor in psychology and sociology, and I have an MBA. But my point is, there's a very specific thing called recency bias, right? It's a psychological term. But it basically means that when you've had success with something, you continue coming back to that, right? We do that playing Tecmo Bowl. We do that playing Madden. That's huge. And the reality is that Joe Lombardi continues to do that. He just continues to just do the same play over and over again. He needs to randomize a little bit about what he does, and that would make a huge difference, in my opinion. Because, again, when you become completely predictable, you don't win. So, in my opinion, Joe Lombardi needs to start putting himself on a bit of a randomizer, some way making things look a little bit different, right? So, thoughts. And Wildcats, let's highlight Wildcats' thought here as well, and then we could potentially end here in a few moments. So, okay. So, yes, they're going to run through our guts all night long. Look, who wouldn't do that, right? Guys, who would not do that? Guys, at the end of the day, the whole point of the NFL is angles, space, and matchups, right? Angles, space, and matchups. That's a big part of the NFL. Let's play the angles, let's play the space, and let's play the matchups. Right now, the middle of our defense is soft, right? Soft all season. It's just got even more soft. So why not run the ball up the middle? If you have a running back for the Chiefs, might not be a bad time to start him for this game. He'll probably do fairly well. And it is what it is, guys. I mean, that's how we need to do it. But again, we've got to contain him. So even these scrubs that we picked up, they've got to step up and do some good things. So, guys, I'm excited. And we are going to be doing a live video tomorrow, probably around noon, this same time. And Moto, just so you know, we signed Tyler Rogers and David Moa to practice squad. Tyler Rogers probably will play and probably will be active this week. Not 100% for sure, but those are the two folks that we signed this week for the defensive line. So that's where we're at today, guys. So, alrighty, guys. We'll do a little bit of an outro. I'm Andrew, Bolt Bros. My brother James is here apparently, but you cannot see his camera because of connection issues. It is what it is. You got to love live video, and that's what you're seeing here right now, guys. So, as always, guys, Andrew, Bolt Bros. See you guys in the next one.